Good morning, everybody. It's time for a spelling test today, and I hope you've been practicing really hard at home with our plural spellings that we've been looking at for the past couple of weeks. So last week we looked at plurals, didn't we? And then this week Miss Bright has recapped them again with you as well, just to make sure that we've really got all of those spelling patterns so we can use them in our writing. So some of our plurals today will be ending in ES, some in EYS, and some in IES. So have a little think about what you need to do to be able to spell these plural words, okay? So I'm going to start then with sheet number 1. And the first word on sheet number 1 is dishes. So I could say, my dad got the dishes out to put the pizza on. Dishes. Word number 2 is buses. Buses. I was waiting for a bus and then 2 buses came at once. That happens quite often, doesn't it? Buses. Okay, the next word we're looking at is sixes. Sixes. My brother, who is in year 4, can count in his sixes. Sixes. The next word is stories. I love listening to stories before I go to bed. Stories. The next word is families. Families. And I could say all families are different. Families. The next word we're looking at is keys. Keys. Mr. Heesom dropped his keys outside the door. Keys. And the last word is monkeys. Monkeys. Monkeys like to swing from tree to tree. Monkeys. Okay, so that's number 1. So I'll just go over those again. So we had dishes, buses, sixes, stories, families, keys, and monkeys. Oh, if you can spell keys, hopefully you can spell monkeys. Okay, so they were our first sheet. They were our first words on our first sheet. Okay, so on sheet number 2 then, these ones are slightly trickier. So I always recommend starting on sheet 1 and seeing how you get on with them. And if you find them easy peasy lemon squeezy, you could try and challenge yourself with the second sheet. But if you think, actually, do you know what? I just need to make sure I get these ones right first, then I would stick with number 1 to make sure you get those first spellings right. Okay, so number 1 then is watches. Watches. So the jeweler's shop had lots of watches in the window. Watches. So I'm talking about a watch that you wear on your wrist. Watches. Next word is toothbrushes. Toothbrushes. In my bathroom, I have a lot of toothbrushes to brush my teeth. Toothbrushes. And again, I've got the word families. Families. All families are different and unique as well, special. The next word we've got is libraries. Libraries. There are a couple of libraries in Derby. Libraries. So there's more than one library. The next word is activities. Activities. The year 2 teachers like to keep you busy with lots of activities. We do indeed. The next word is journeys. Journeys. Sometimes I make my journeys in my car. Journeys. The next word is chimneys. Chimneys. The house over the road that I can see has got 3 chimneys. Chimneys. I don't know why it's got 3 chimneys. That's quite a lot, actually. And the last word, just like the one before on the other sheet, was monkeys. Monkeys. So the monkeys swing from tree to tree. Monkeys. So they were this week's spelling. So I'll just recap those ones for sheet number 2. We had watches, toothbrushes, families, libraries, activities, journeys, chimneys, and monkeys. So there you had 8 spellings on that sheet just there. Okay. And then I'm going to share my screen, hopefully, so I can show you what the spellings are for this next week. Now, for next week, we are going to be writing our final polar Arctic non-chronological report all about polar bears, aren't we? So what we thought we'd do is try and give you some words to practice spelling this week that you can use in your writing. So these are what we call like topic words. They're subject words. So they're vocabulary, which just means words to help us. Okay. So this week we have got Arctic. So the Arctic is the region, the Arctic region. So that's all the area around the North Pole that we've been looking at. And then we've got tundra. So that's the place where there's very little rain, there's not so many trees. Then we've got polar bear. We know what a polar bear is. We've been looking at that for quite a while, haven't we? The next word is frozen. I thought that was quite a good one to put in there. I bet a lot of you could spell frozen already from the very popular film. So frozen, so that's what you could say. The landscape is frozen solid. So the ice is frozen solid. The next word is icy. So if something's like got lots of ice on it, you want to describe it as having lots of ice on, you say that it's icy. The next word is hollow. And I thought we'd put hollow in this week because it's really, really interesting about the polar bear's fur, isn't it? How that it's hollow, which keeps them nice and warm, and it helps them to blend into the landscape as well. So hollow. And then the last word on sheet number 1 is iceberg. So an iceberg is a piece of ice that's broken off a glacier, isn't it? Okay, so they're your words for sheet number 1. So again, I'd always start with sheet number 1. Maybe just test yourself first of all at home and just think, can I spell these words? Can I give it a good go? And if you think, yeah, great, give it a go and do those ones. But if you think actually these ones are a little bit tricky, you can focus on these. If you think they're okay, you could go on to the next sheet as well to have a go at those, okay? So on this sheet then we've got habitat. So habitat is the place where an animal lives. So we're looking at the polar habitat, aren't we? Where the polar bear lives. A carnivore. So we've spoken about this a little bit as well. So a carnivore is an animal that eats meat, like a polar. A predator. Oh, actually, interestingly, going back to the carnivore one, somebody told me this week that a polar bear is the largest carnivore that walks on the earth. Interesting. Okay, the next word is predator. So predator is an animal that eats prey, so it eats another animal. Camouflage, tricky word to spell there, camouflage. It's this bit here, isn't it? That's the tricky bit. So camouflage is obviously when an animal or something can blend into its surroundings, so it blends into the background. So polar bears can camouflage into their habitat, into the landscape behind them. We've got prey. So a predator always eats its prey. So the prey is the animal that the predator eats. Then we've got pounce. So I watched a video the other week about a polar bear pouncing onto its prey, so that was a good one. And of course, polar bear as well. I want to make sure we can spell polar bear right, otherwise we'll be in trouble, won't we? So there are spellings for this week then. Give them a good go and let us know how we get on. And then we will have a go at this next week then. Okay, see you all later, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.